On the morning of December 16, 2014, in the northwestern city of Peshawar, Pakistan, a normal school day began at the Army Public School. Children arrived in uniforms, carrying books, dreaming of futures bright with promise. This military-run institution, home to over 1,000 students from grades 1 through 10, stood as a place of learning and hope amid a region long scarred by conflict. But that morning, hope was shattered. Around 10:30 a.m., 7 heavily armed militants affiliated with the Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, approached the school compound on Warsik Road. They arrived in a Suzuki Bolin van. In a calculated move to distract guards and sow confusion, they set the vehicle ablaze, creating a plume of black smoke and a loud explosion. The attackers, wearing partial uniforms or civilian clothes, armed with automatic rifles, grenades, and suicide vests, scaled the perimeter wall, cutting through barbed wire and dropping into the grounds. Their goal was clear and merciless: to kill, not to negotiate or take hostages. They claimed the attack as retaliation for Pakistan's military operation Zarb-e-Azadi against militants in North Waziristan. Once inside, the militants moved swiftly toward the heart of the school. They headed straight for the main auditorium, where dozens of students, mostly older ones aged 14 to 16, were gathered for a first aid training session. Without warning, they burst in an open fire indiscriminately. Chaos erupted. Screams filled the air as children and teachers scrambled for safety. The attackers showed no mercy, firing bursts into the crowded hall. Many lives were lost in those first terrifying minutes. This was the beginning of an ordeal that would last nearly 9 hours. The gunmen then spread out, moving methodically through the school's corridors and classrooms. They kicked open doors, entered rooms one by one, and continued their assault. Desks overturned, books scattered across floors, windows left open in panic. Others tried to shield students. Some helped children escape through windows before they themselves fell victim. The militants targeted older students in particular, firing relentlessly. Grenades were thrown in some areas, adding to the terror with smoke and thunderous blasts. All the while, the school remained a place of unimaginable fear, echoes of gunfire, cries for help, and the constant dread of the next door opening. Outside the compound, the horror began to spread. Parents, alerted by phone calls, rumors, and the sight of smoke, rushed to the gates. Mothers and fathers gathered in growing crowds, pressing against barriers, calling out their children's names in anguish. Some tried to climb walls or force their way in, only to be held back by security personnel. Early responders, local police, arrived quickly but faced heavy resistance. Gunfire from inside kept them at bay as they took cover, waiting for reinforcements. Inside, the killing continued. No hostages were taken. The attackers sought only destruction. By early afternoon, Pakistan's elite special services group, the SSG Commandos, mobilized and arrived in force. Armored vehicles surrounded the perimeter. Hey, just a quick one, if you're enjoying this, kindly follow my profile for more videos like this, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for the support. Highly trained soldiers in tactical gear dismounted, formed teams, and prepared to retake the school. They breached the gates and advanced with precision. Room by room, corridor by corridor, they cleared the buildings. Firefights erupted, muzzle, flashes from windows, controlled bursts of gunfire. Commandos used tactical entries, flashbangs, and suppressive fire to corner the militants. Survivors were rescued. Children and teachers guided out, some carried on stretchers, rushed to waiting ambulances. The operation was intense but professional. The attackers, cornered in key areas like the administration block, were neutralized, one by one. Some detonated their suicide vests in final acts of defiance, but the commandos prevailed. By around 7:56 p.m., nearly 9.5 hours after the attack began, the school was declared secure. All 7 militants were dead. The siege was over. The aftermath was heartbreaking. Ambulances lined the roads, carrying the wounded. Parents waited in agony outside hospitals, searching lists, hoping against hope. In the end, 149 lives were lost, 132 of them schoolchildren, aged 8 to 18, along with teachers and staff. Over 100 more were injured, many scarred for life. The nation mourned. 3 days of official mourning were declared. Funerals filled the streets of Peshawar and beyond. Families buried their children, bright futures stolen in an instant. Survivors carried deep trauma. Pakistan responded with resolve. A national action plan was launched to combat extremism. Military courts were established for terrorism cases. Security at schools nationwide was tightened. The attack unified public outrage against militancy like never before. 10 years on, December 16th remains a wound in Pakistan's heart. Memorials stand at the school. Families and survivors advocate for peace and education. The children lost are remembered not just as victims, but as symbols of innocence targeted by hatred. This was not merely an attack on a school, it was an assault on hope, on the future. Yet in the face of such darkness, resilience endures. Education continues. Voices rise against violence. And the memory of those young lives urges us never to forget.